This is our RV, and it's no secret that I love to customize it, I love to modify it for exactly what we want. And today, I'm going to be reviewing about 20 modifications we've done on the RV, some my favorite and some we've actually removed. So we're going to be looking at them and seeing which ones have held up over time and which ones I may not do again. Okay, let's start off with one that I love, and it's this extra storage that I bolted to the bottom of the RV in the back here. This is actually an ammo can, and it holds the sewer connections that I don't want in the rest of the RV contaminating everything else, and they're too big to be able to fit into these tubes. So have a carabiner so that it cannot open when you're driving down the road. Pull that off, open it up, and you have easy access to be able to get to all this. So this is definitely a modification that I would do again. Links will be down in the description to the videos that show how I've done all these, but yes, this is one of my favorites. Sliding over, we have another modification where this is where the gray water for the kitchen would come out. And so we combined that into one outlet. So instead of having two outlets for the gray water and sewer on here, we have just one, which I absolutely love. So we have the pipe that goes all the way to the front, wise into there, and then we just have one connection point to dump all of our wastewater. Absolutely love that. I hated having 2 points where you needed to hook up that drain hose and or moving that hose around. One is far superior to the two. Another modification that we have here are the plates that we put down here at the bottom to protect the bottom of the slides from the rollers. We were starting to wear through the wood that's underneath here, and these plates have done a fantastic job. Now we have two different versions under here. So we have the stainless steel ones that came from Vroom on the edges, and then in the middle we have the black ones. The black ones are HDPE, they're lightweight, they were easy to work with, and they're working fine. I'm not having a problem with them. I just much prefer the metal ones on the side. I think I would prefer the HDPE ones to be aluminum. Like I said, they're working fine, they're doing their job. I just think the aluminum would look better. So that's one that I would probably do just a little bit different, but it's still working great. Oh, that's another modification that we have on here is when we were starting to have problems with the slide before we switched over to the Vroom system, is we added an additional roller into the center of the slide because it was a long stretch there. So they do have rollers that you don't have to take the slides all the way out to be able to put in there. So that's what we did. We added a roller to the center of the slide. So that's why we have an additional wear plate underneath here for that roller as well. That was a good modification. I don't know that it necessarily helped out a ton, but we definitely get less sag in the middle of the slide. It's better supported. Now, I know this isn't a mod, but I have a quick tip for you. Did you know you're supposed to swap out your water filter every 3 months? This one has 6 stages in it, has a KDF treatment in there that's supposed to help fight against bacteria and mold and those kind of things, but you really shouldn't push it on there. But something that not everybody knows is on this filter, the Taste Pure, you have a place to be able to put in the first date of use. That way, you don't have to try and remember, did I buy this in April? Did I buy it in May? How long I've been using it? If you can read the hieroglyphics that I wrote on here, you know exactly when you started using it and when you need to swap it out. So just a quick tip for you. Let's get to the next modification. So now you could probably say that this entire bay is somewhat of a modification. Pretty much everything in here is custom, from the solar to the inverter to just about, like I said, everything in here. But I do want to focus over here. We do have that new inlet that we put over here. We had an existing inlet on the back of the RV. We put this one here so that we have double the reach for our existing power cord without needing an extra extension cord. So this is the modification that I really wanted to talk about here. This is normally the vent for the lead acid batteries that are in here, but we don't have lead acid batteries. But I wanted to be able to use this without having to put an extra hole in the RV, because with all this equipment in here, it can get a little bit warm in the middle of summer. So I wanted to be able to use this to cool the area just a little bit better. And so what I did is I created an adapter that goes from this vent to a fan in the back. And I'll be honest, it's kind of mediocre at best, but I think there's drastic room for improvement. So this one is a work in progress. You're probably going to see more coming on it soon, because I've had a lot of people ask me about that. Being able to cool this bay down comes in very handy when you have this much equipment in there. So this one doesn't get a pass or a fail, it gets a work in progress. Now, here's one that somewhat reverted backwards, or actually has morphed over the time of us having the RV. So originally, there was a fridge here, there was kind of an outdoor kitchen on this side. We kind of opened up this whole area, created more storage, And at one time we had put the Blackstone on sliders here so we could just slide it out, use it, and slide it right back in. And that's the one part that we've gotten rid of. That's because we don't always travel with the Blackstone. Sometimes we pull this out and we put in our smoker. And so it depends on what we take. So that's why we don't have this on a slider. So right now we have the Blackstone in here. If we want to use it, we just pull it out on the table. So while it was really convenient to be able to have it on sliders and pull it out whenever you wanted, it's just nice to be able to swap out what equipment we want to take at different times. So that's why this one got reverted back. I guess we could put a shelf in here that this basically just sits on and that shelf pulls out, so that way you can put it in there, take it out, however you'd like to do it. So that's kind of an interesting idea. I kind of like that one. One thing that we did do as a modification is being able to run our propane generator off of the quick disconnect. So having the load regulator on here, but disconnecting the pressure regulator so we can connect that directly into the RV. That one's been a winner for us. Now, the door of our RV kind of represents more upgrades than modifications, but it does have a modification. The upgrades that we have on here are the blinds, replacing the window, so it has a blind insert in there, and then the RV lock. We love being able to have the keyless entry on there. But on the door, the screen door, we replaced the screening on here with pet screen. We have a cat, and she would have destroyed it in no time flat. I think in the first week, she had put a couple of claws in this lower section, and it was just already looking like garbage. So we immediately replaced this with pet screen, and this has been it for the last few years, and it's holding up well. So we just replaced each section with pet screening in there, and it was really easy and a lot more durable. I'll have links down in the description also to all the different products that we might mention in the video. One of the first things you'd notice coming in is that we have two ACs in the main living area, which is pretty typical on a lot of the bigger RVs, but ours, that's not typical. Definitely a modification. I ended up cutting a hole in the ceiling and in the roof to be able to put the second AC in here. Number one, we wanted to do that because we didn't want to give up the vent fan in our bedroom. We found out that we liked having the second one in the main living area, but really it's to be able to test ACs side by side, and the benefit is that we actually like having it this way. I am really excited. There is a new AC coming out that's moving the ball forward. New technology, not just the same thing repackaged, but anyways, that's another video. The other thing that we've done is we've added outlets on the bottom side of the cabinets here for along the countertop, which is hard to go wrong with extra outlets. Now, this one I don't think would be very popular, but we got rid of our microwave, which sounds kind of crazy to a lot of people. We found out that we don't use it all that much. We got rid of it about 10 years ago, and we enjoy not having a microwave. So that gave me space to do something different here, which we put in an air fryer. This is our second version, or actually third version of an air fryer. This has been our favorite by far. And the way that I have done this is I put little feet underneath here so this thing can't move when you're going down the road. So that came in pretty handy, and it gives us an extra place for our little tea kettle, which we use all the time. So kind of a benefit for us, but I really don't think that would be a very popular solution. But it did create a problem for me that gave me an additional modification, is I didn't have any light underneath here. And so we put in a strip light and a switch right over here, which is great for like a task light underneath here. You wouldn't normally need it if you had a microwave, but we use that same type of light system for over the table, which we added a custom table for our RV. So over here, yes, I would do this light system again, this strip light in this track system. I like having those lights on at night rather than the main lights inside the RV. And the table, this is what made this RV really kind of work for us, and I think that's key, finding the modifications that make your RV work for you in your situation. So this was a table that we made out of walnut, and this kind of leaf folds down right here. It's not much, but it's enough that it folds down that it allows the slide to come in. So having the table here, this was definitely a modification that I would do again, and I kind of like the little bit of character of having a real wood table in here. Yeah, I like this table. Now, here's one that I forgot that I actually did. It's not that critical, but it turned out really well, and it's this custom TV mount for inside this back bedroom. Usually the TV is supposed to go on that wall, but it's not all that great for being able to see from the beds and using it in this room. So I put this mount here so that we could have the TV either there, but most of the time it gets used in this other position. You can close the blind so the sun's not beating on the back of the TV, but it was a solution that worked out that it didn't block off this window, but made it more usable in this room. It was handy having a TV back here. Oh, and it clips to the wall for travel days so it doesn't swing around. Okay, this one could use a little bit of work, and this is how I attach the Reflectex to the windows. I use these little Velcro strips. Number one, white was a terrible choice. Other places I've used black, and that's a little bit better, but it's also not 100% foolproof, and I think I could do better. I think magnets might be kind of fun and interesting and a little bit easier to be able to put on and take off, but the Velcro works-ish. It sometimes comes off the window in extreme heat, or the condensation that's on there, it may not stick all that great over the long period of time, but what do you guys use in keeping the Reflectex near or against the windows? Comes in handy, but it needs some work and some refining. Next up, we have some bathroom mods. I love some good bathroom mods. That didn't sound right. Anyways, modifications in the bathroom. Number one, we got rid of our glass shower doors. That sounds like a downgrade, going from glass shower doors to curtains. We did it for a few reasons. Number one, we don't like trying to clean all the tracks of the glass shower doors. If you have a dirty curtain, you can just swap it out. It's easier to clean. It's easier to swap out when you want to. So that was kind of a win in that column. Number two, I got rid of it because it was offsetting some of the weight of the solar panels that we put on the roof. Those things were pretty heavy. When I pulled them out, I was surprised at how much weight it adds to the RV. So shower curtain is a win for us. We would absolutely do it again, and it has held up well. There is a little bit of rust showing up on this support that's in the middle. The other thing that we've done in here is a supply line and a shutoff for the toilet. I much prefer having it that way. And we also did supply lines and shutoffs for underneath the sink. We're starting to see them change over to that, but some of them are still using that flexible line to be able to get to those. So modification that worked well here in the bathroom. Another thing we did was we added a shelf over here in the closet. The command hook wire shelf actually works really well with that lip in there. It just gives you more space and usable stackability kind of in these locations. We have one in here, and then we have one in our bedroom. This is one that's not earth-shattering, but it's one of those that's really simple, inexpensive, and easy to do, that it's kind of like, why not? It makes the space more usable. It's a good modification in my book. I would absolutely do this one again. One I don't know that I would do again is we added a DVD player into the room over here. I'm curious what your thoughts are. Kind of funny, looking at the list, you might think that we just watch TV all the time. That's not the case, but we put this in, we mounted this over here, and I ran a wire over to the TV. It kind of worked out, but it makes a decent amount of noise, and this was put in before Starlink was a thing. So if you were out boondocking, you wanted to watch something, and you had no service, then this might be a solution where you could watch a movie if you wanted to. But DVDs are kind of outdated. Almost everything is streaming now. So is this something that you guys have in the RV? Do you guys still use DVDs, or do you just pretty much go to streaming for everything? So I think this one lands in the, I don't know that I would do it again. We haven't hardly used it in a pretty long time, and it's kind of outdated. Now, I do have some general ones. I added micro-air easy starts to both the ACs, being able to soft start them. So on a generator or an inverter, it just makes them easier to start. So it's an easy win on both of those. I also put door extensions on the back bedroom and the one in the bathroom. Yes, you do need gaps at the bottom of your doors so that the heat and the AC can equalize throughout the rooms and let that airflow happen, but you don't need massive gaps on those. So I wanted a little bit more privacy, put extensions on the bottom of those doors, and those have been doing well. The weather stripping at the bottom, I know it's not the exact case use for that type of weather stripping, but it just kind of finished the bottom of the door off well. Some of it's starting to peel up a little bit, but overall, those extensions, I'm very happy with those. Now that's about 25 modifications. I have a whole list of modifications that I'm really excited about getting to and can't wait to be able to share those with you. So, you know, buckle up, we got a whole lot more coming. So anyways, I think that's gonna do it for this list and the modifications that we have currently on the RV. I hope it helped you out in some way. So as always, if we don't see you on the road, hopefully we will see you next video. Take care.